Global tension. Russia destroys NATO ships in Odessa. Odessa, a vital port city on the Black Sea, holds immense strategic importance. Its location makes it a key hub for maritime trade and military operations. Control over Odessa means control over crucial supply routes and access to the sea, impacting both economic and military strategies. The city's rich history and cultural significance also add to its importance, making it a focal point in regional power dynamics. The recent events in Odessa underscore its critical role in the ongoing conflict, highlighting the broader implications for regional stability and international relations. As the battle for Odessa intensifies, the stakes continue to rise, making every action in this city a pivotal moment in the wider conflict. The city's strategic location on the Black Sea makes it a crucial point for both economic and military activities. Its port facilitates significant maritime trade, while its military presence ensures control over vital supply routes. Odessa's historical and cultural significance further elevates its importance in the region. The ongoing conflict has brought this city into the spotlight, emphasizing its role in the broader geopolitical landscape. The battle for Odessa is not just a local skirmish, it has far-reaching consequences for regional stability and international relations. Every move in this city is closely watched, as it could tip the balance in the wider conflict. Up next, the devastating attack in the port of Odessa. In the early morning hours, the port of Odessa and its surroundings were the scene of one of the most devastating attacks of the war in Ukraine. Russian Geran missiles, known for their accuracy, destroyed several cargo ships loaded with NATO military equipment. The series of explosions shook the Bay of Odessa. This devastating attack was Russia's response to the increasing military supplies coming into Ukraine from Eastern Europe, especially from Poland and Romania. This marks a new turn in the escalating conflict. The attack made it clear that the war is far from over, and the consequences of the bombing could radically change how the war unfolds. Up next, the details of this fierce attack. The port of Ilychevsk, near Odessa, became the target of Russian missiles. With surprising accuracy, they destroyed the NATO cargo ships. These ships were completely full of ammunition and the latest equipment supplied by Ukraine's allies in the West. The explosion of the ships was a terrifying sight. Huge flames lit up the Black Sea like a volcano of fire as the ships sank into the chaos. The aftermath of the attack was devastating, not only because of the damage, but also because of what it means for the war strategy. The Geran missiles, launched from Russian platforms in the Black Sea, struck Ukrainian port infrastructure with deadly accuracy, destroying a crucial part of Kiev's war logistics. Since the beginning of the conflict, Ukrainian ports have been vital for getting weapons and resources, and the attack on Odessa was part of a broader Russian effort to disrupt those supply lines. According to reports from Russian channels and Kremlin intelligence sources, the attack had a clear objective: to dismantle the supply lines of essential war material for Ukrainian forces, particularly those coming from NATO allies, which had increased significantly in recent weeks. The transport routes connecting the Black Sea with Romania and Poland have been extremely important to Ukraine, because that's where they get advanced air defense systems, long-range missiles, drones, and heavy weaponry, without which the Ukrainian resistance would be in serious trouble. With this attack, Russia has shown it can accurately strike the logistical routes that are keeping the war in Ukraine going. By attacking the port of Ilychevsk and other key points, the Kremlin wants to cut off supplies of military equipment and demoralize both Ukrainian forces and the NATO coalition, which has supported Ukraine throughout the conflict. The use of Geran missiles and state-of-the-art drones in the attack is no coincidence. These missiles are known for their accuracy and ability to get past Ukraine's air defenses, making this offensive a powerful tool in Moscow's hands. Eyewitnesses say the flashes from the explosions were visible for miles, and that the flames on the cargo ships were huge and destructive. Russian forces have perfected their electronic warfare technology, and the use of such missiles shows the high level of sophistication with which their military units are operating in the region. Attack drones also joined the offensive, entering Ukrainian airspace and increasing the collateral damage. Ukrainian anti-aircraft units tried to intercept the missiles and drones, but it wasn't enough to stop the port of Odessa from being knocked out of action for hours. This attack has not only caused a lot of damage to Ukrainian ports, but it also has significant strategic implications. The destruction of ships full of NATO military equipment is a direct blow to the infrastructure that keeps the Ukrainian forces going. As the conflict continues, supply lines have become even more important to Ukraine's resistance. Russia's attack could be a turning point. Since the war began, Ukraine's Black Sea ports have been crucial for receiving supplies from allied countries, and controlling these routes has been one of Russia's goals. By attacking in such a precise and devastating way, Russia is trying to cut off the flow of high-tech equipment, such as missiles, drones, and ammunition, which are essential for Ukrainian forces on the ground. This strike reinforces Russia's strategy of cutting off Ukraine's logistical capabilities and weakening its ability to keep fighting Russian forces. This attack isn't just a military response from Russia, but also a political one. Over the past few weeks, relations between Ukraine and its Western allies, especially the United States, had become strained because of delays in delivering important weapons systems. Ukraine, under President Volodymyr Zelensky, found itself increasingly isolated, facing pressure not only from its own armed forces, but also growing concern from its Western sponsors. The attack on Odessa sends a clear message that Russia will not allow Western military support to Ukraine to continue without consequences. This type of offensive reflects a strategy of wearing down the enemy, not only militarily but also diplomatically. If Ukraine can't get the supplies it needs to keep fighting, the situation inside Ukraine could become impossible to manage. This blow to critical infrastructure could be just the beginning of a series of deeper and more extensive attacks aimed at destroying Ukraine's ability to keep fighting Russia on the battlefield. The attack on NATO ships in Odessa has made it clear that the fight for control of the Black Sea is about much more than just territory. It is a battle for supply lines, for control of the trade routes that are keeping Ukraine's war machine going, and ultimately for the survival of Ukrainian forces facing constant pressure from Moscow. As NATO ships sink in the waters of the Black Sea, Russia's message is clear. Ukraine will not be allowed to keep receiving support without consequences. This attack, which could be a turning point in the conflict, shows that the war in Ukraine is far from over, and that the strategic decisions of both sides will continue to determine how the war goes. Russia and NATO have been in a constant struggle since Russia took control of Crimea in 2014. Tensions have grown much worse with Russia's recent destruction of NATO ships in Odessa. This attack is seen as a major escalation in the conflict, with potential consequences for global security. NATO has responded with a series of sanctions and military exercises in the region, while Russia has continued to increase its military presence in the Black Sea. The international community is watching closely, as any wrong move could start a larger conflict. The situation is still tense and unpredictable, with both sides getting ready for possible future clashes.